There we go. Oh, wow. She announces it boldly for us. Well, good morning. I'm with my friend and colleague, Paul. He and his wife, Cheryl, serve as workers, global servants in China. And it's been a privilege here at Hershey Free to partner with these guys for probably 20 years or so before I came on staff here. So Paul, would you share a little bit with us about what you guys do, what God's called you to, what your ministry is there in China?
Well, yeah, thanks, Dave. It's been a blessing for us to be associated with Hershey Church for so many years, and we're just thankful for all your support over the years and all the people who've been praying for us and contributing to the work. We've been there, yeah, as you said, we've been working in China for over 20 years now, and our team in China, our ministry includes a few different areas: education, healthcare, counseling, and a new thing is crisis pregnancy ministry. So our team consists of uh, Americans like ourselves, but also mostly Chinese coworkers, most Chinese believers who work with us to carry out these projects.
Outstanding. And it's obviously been an interesting year and a half, maybe even longer for you guys that the pandemic started, with some roots in China, obviously. So how was that ministering? You guys stayed for the majority of that time. You stayed right there in China. How was that for your ministry and for the church in general?
Well, yeah, of course, it was a huge change to everything. Some things were become made a lot more difficult, but other areas were actually helped. Yeah, many Americans were leaving early on. We just felt like God had called us to stay, and the fact that we stayed did make an impact on our neighbors and our friends, our coworkers, and so it was a blessing to be able to stay there. Now, some people had to leave, and we certainly understand that. But the fact that God opened the door for us to be able to stay there really was a blessing, deepening relationships and deepening trust with our friends and our coworkers. Of course, really probably the biggest impact this has had uh, overall in the long term has just been the travel, difficulty people who had to leave or were out of the country at the time and couldn't get back in. So we've lost several coworkers on our team. As far as expat coworkers, our team is probably uh, more than cut in half at this point. And so it's been difficult to get people to be able to come back, get visas and things like that for their children, especially. So it's impacted our ability to travel in terms of there were some outreach events I was planning to attend outside the country last year and I couldn't because of COVID. So it's had impact mainly on travel in a negative way, but also has helped deepen some relationships.
Yeah, it sounded like there was a lot of respect garnered. You know, the local authorities and different people really respected you guys appreciated you for staying. I appreciated you sent us early in this thing, sent us a bunch of masks that we couldn't get early in the pandemic that we were able to give to some police forces here and some healthcare workers. So I appreciate it, and from your home church there in China as well. So
That was great. Yeah,
thank
they
you
were
for
happy to be able to do it. Yeah.
yeah, as were we. I yeah, and you were talking about a lot of the teammates that you have aren't they're not expatriates, they're they're Chinese nationals. And so we've talked earlier about your next 5 years and what you guys are hoping to see. Yeah, just wanted to hear what the near future holds for you guys.
Hmm. Yeah, so we've been there for it'll be 21 years this August, and we starting to feel like really over the next 5 years we need to be preparing to hand off the work that we've been doing to the nationals. And it's always been our ethos from the very beginning, really, to not make our work foreign work in China, but to make it a work in cooperation that would support the nationals. And now it's as we look to the next 5 years, probably transitioning out of China. And so we really need to be intentional about making sure that the work we're doing could be sustained through the leadership of our Chinese coworkers.
Yeah, and the other thing you mentioned is the mobilization. We had talked about it, sending, which is exciting to me to think of of Chinese believers who are serving cross culturally places. How does that look in the near future for you?
Yeah, that's very exciting to me too. Yeah, there's, the church in China has grown so much over the past several years, and for many years you hear, well, it's growing wide but not deep. But
Hmm.
really, I've seen over the past few years a deepening in the faith and deepening of the knowledge of the word in the people in the church. And actually, Hershey Church helped us in many ways. Uh, we have a we helped a lead a or establish a training program, leadership training program for lay leaders in the church. And Hershey Church, through one of your uh, grants, I forget what the acronym you have for it, but you
Yeah,
do
gift at this point. We changed the
a
name, so sorry to make it confusing, but yeah, it's gift.
those for one of those grants. You enabled us to translate this program from English into Chinese and to help make it more suitable to the Chinese culture. And so, anyway, that really has borne much fruit, and so we're really thankful for that. But anyway, so we've seen the church grow deeper in many ways, and now and they've been interested in sending for years. They've been talking about sending workers to outside of the country to see people come to Christ in other cultures around the world. And they have the numbers for it. They have the dedication for it. They have even now they're beginning to really have the finances for it, the resource to do that. So many Chinese believers have gone overseas to do gospel ministry, but unfortunately, at the moment, most of them come back very quickly, um, and in disappointment. And there just hasn't been a good, um, they haven't been able to gain a footing in their adopted culture. So there are people doing training, but one of the issues that I've found that a lot of these coworkers who go overseas from China to other countries, they don't have a team where they are, and they're not involved in a team ministry and with people caring for them. And so we want to help establish teams in other countries for Chinese workers to be successful in the work that they do overseas.
Yeah, well, those are some great goals for the next 5 years, and we'll be praying along with you as God calls people from every nation to every nation. As someone said, is no longer from the west to the rest. So thanks for your partnership and the gospel from the first day until now. Appreciate you guys. So thanks for sharing with us, Paul.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. All right, I'm gonna end this recording.